My bride left our wedding night for a male escort. Chapter 1. On our wedding night, my bride abandoning her groom for a male escort went viral on social media. When I found her, she was crying in the arms of the escort, Derek Mitchell, kneeling before her parents and declaring her love for him. That same night, a second story trending online, the bride had her parents watch as she ordered men to tie up and beat her new husband, trying to force them to let the male escort move into the Hartwell family home. I spent a week in the hospital recovering like a zombie. When I returned home, I was greeted by the overwhelming scent of men's cologne and the sound of my wife's moans from our bedroom. And a fresh marriage certificate lying on the coffee table. Silently, I picked up the clothes scattered across the floor. Then I sat on the couch and waited. In the past, I would have stormed in demanding answers. But this time, I finally understood it was time to leave this family that had taken me in 15 years ago, and the woman I'd loved for just as long. The sounds from the bedroom hadn't stopped when Victoria's parents approached me. Mr. Hartwell's face flushed red with anger at the obscene noises. He pulled me onto the balcony. Ryan, what Victoria did is unforgivable. Don't worry, I won't let that gigolo get away with this. Mrs. Hartwell's eyes glistened with tears as she took my hand. We'll handle this, but you've known Victoria since childhood. You understand she's just immature. You'll forgive her, won't you? 15 years ago, after my parents died in a car accident, the Hartwell's me parents' close friends took me in. I'd been nothing but grateful. They'd treated me well enough, and I'd given everything to their family in return. But without blood ties, no amount of effort earned their true favor. I couldn't even get basic fairness. I held up the marriage certificate. Mr. Hartwell, let me ask you, if your wife cheated on your wedding night and married another man, would you forgive her? Mrs. Hartwell bristled. Don't be ridiculous. I would never do something so shameless. She stopped mid-sentence, unable to meet my eyes. I laughed bitterly. You both know the answer. So no, I won't forgive her. Mr. Hartwell frowned. What are you implying? Half of New York's elite attended your wedding. You want to back out now? Where would that leave the Hartwell family's reputation? Mrs. Hartwell chimed in, girls can be impulsive. Victoria does care about you, I know my daughter. She's just having a fling with that escort. How about I arrange for a female escort for you? Call it even? Before I could respond, Victoria's sharp voice cut through the air. No way. Ryan, if you touch another woman, you're dead. I looked up. Victoria stood there in a silk negligee, her pale skin covered in hickeys. She grabbed my arm. You're my husband. You're only allowed to love me. I pulled away. Your marriage certificate is with Derek Mitchell, not me. Stop calling me your husband. Ryan, I'm sorry, Derek's voice drifted over, dripping with false remorse. I just love Victoria so much, I felt insecure. I begged her to marry me legally. Don't blame her. If it bothers you, we'll get divorced right away. He walked over wearing nothing but tight boxer briefs, his chest bare. Mrs. Hartwell's face reddened as she looked away. Victoria threw herself into his arms. Oh Derek, you're too sweet for your own good. Then she turned on me. Why can't you be more like Derek? He doesn't even care that you and my parents called him a kept man. You're the one making a scene. How did we raise such an ungrateful person? I couldn't take it anymore. I threw the marriage certificate on the ground and turned to Mr. Hartwell. I finally see your family's true colors. It's disgusting. Slap. Victoria's hand cracked across my face. We've fed and housed you for 15 years, and this is how you repay us. I don't care what you think. This is how it's going to be. You handle the business, Derek handles the home. You're both my husbands. I'll spend Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays with you. The rest with Derek. My heart shattered. I turned to leave. But Derek grabbed my arm and yanked me back. Ryan, I should be the one to go. With that, he shoved me backward with surprising force. I tumbled over the balcony railing. My head hit the concrete below, and everything went black. Chapter 2. I woke up in an empty hospital room, the sharp smell of antiseptic mixing with the throbbing pain in my head. A wave of loneliness washed over me. When my parents were alive, they'd hover over me if I so much as scraped my knee. Now the two people who loved me most were gone, along with the woman I'd loved. The door opened. Derek entered carrying a lunchbox. He set it on my bedside table with exaggerated care. Ryan, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I really want us to get along. I stared at him coldly. Drop the act. Aren't you tired? He sat on my bed, shoulders shaking, voice breaking with fake sobs. Can't we both just love Victoria together? Take care of her forever? I made you some green vegetables, try them. I clenched my fists. Get out. I knocked the lunchbox from his hands. As it crashed to the floor, his laughter filled the room. Wow, Ryan. You can't even handle this? You're pathetic. What do you want? Do you even love her? He shrugged. Love her? No. But I love money. I love the Hartwell Company. I love their mansion. How does it feel? Everything you couldn't get in 15 years of living with them, I got in just a few months. Derek, I could tell them everything. You'd lose it all. He doubled over laughing, then leaned close to whisper, go ahead. Try. Without warning, he punched himself in the face. The door burst open. Victoria and her parents rushed in to find Derek on the floor, blood dripping from his mouth. Victoria cradled him, screaming at me. Enough, Ryan. How can you be so jealous? In ancient times, men like you would be drowned. I laughed despite myself. Victoria, if you're going to reference history, get it right. It's women with 2 husbands who got drowned. Slap. Mr. Hartwell's hand connected with my face. Shut up. This is a hospital. People will talk. Derek immediately fell to his knees, kowtowing. I'm sorry, Ryan. Hit me, curse me, I deserve it. But I can't leave her. I ignored him, looking at the Hartwells with disappointment. After my parents died, I'd given Mr. Hartwell my father's research. It built his company into what it was today. Mrs. Hartwell had promised to love me like their own son. When Mr. Hartwell broke his back and couldn't stand the nurses, I'd been the one changing his bedpan, cleaning him up. He'd said we'd always be family. Now, with Victoria's betrayal, they looked at me without an ounce of affection. My heart turned to ice. Mr. Hartwell, you all saw him pull me off that balcony. What are you going to do about it? Either handle this, or I'm calling the police. Mrs. Hartwell looked uncomfortable. Let's keep this in the family. You're not seriously hurt, just a concussion and 5 stitches. Let's drop it. I pulled out my phone to dial 911. Victoria softened her tone, grabbing my hand. Okay. You mean more to me than Derek. I'll spend 4 days a week with you. Happy? You're still my favorite. They say three's company. We could learn from each other, you know. Share techniques. I nearly choked. Victoria, you disgust me. 15 years of devotion, I should have given it to a dog. Mrs. Hartwell jumped in. Victoria told me she's careful with Derek. Uses protection. She'll have her first child with you. She really does love you. I'd had enough. Get out. All of you. They scrambled from the room. Alone, tears streamed down my face. Mom, Dad, how did you ever become friends with these people? 3 days later, I was ready for discharge when the Hartwells appeared again. Mrs. Hartwell took my hand gently. We've made reservations. Let's have a family dinner and talk. Mr. Hartwell added, just the 4 of us. No, Derek. I agreed. I needed closure anyway. At the restaurant, we waited forever. Victoria never showed. I drank water mechanically until suddenly, heat flooded my body. I loosened my collar, realization dawning. Mrs. Hartwell's eyes filled with fake apology. Ryan, don't blame us. We don't like Derek either. We thought if Victoria got pregnant with your child, she'd settle down. But I don't know why she's not here yet. Her phone rang. Victoria's voice came through clearly. Mom, I'm not coming. Derek saw a vase he likes at an auction. I'm buying him that, and maybe something for Ryan to make him feel better. Click. Call an ambulance. I forced out through gritted teeth. Chapter 3. They stood up and left. Ryan, just tough it out. Going to the hospital would be too embarrassing. You can handle it. They disappeared, leaving me unable to focus, burning up, unable to even dial my phone. Desperate, I smashed a teacup and used the shard to cut my arm. Blood poured out, but it didn't help. As I reached for another piece, the door flew open. The scent of jasmine overwhelmed me, and I lost all control. 3 days later, I returned to the Hartwell house and quickly packed my belongings. Victoria ambushed me at the door, holding a painting. Look what I bought you. You love art, right? This cost way more than Derek's vase. See how much I love you? The Hartwells emerged from their room. Why are you packing? I need some time away. I've submitted my resignation and finished the transition at the company. Mr. Hartwell started to object, but Derek cut in. Ryan deserves a break. Dad, I know some top management consultants who can help run the company. Mr. Hartwell nodded. I'm getting old anyway. Victoria always relied on Ryan at the company. Having professionals help would be good. You young people should travel. Victoria grabbed my arm. Let's go to Vegas. They allow multiple marriage certificates there. I'll make it up to you. I nodded coldly. The next day, on the plane, my phone buzzed with messages from Victoria. We're at the airport. Where are you? A pale hand reached over, grabbed my phone, and typed 2 words, goodbye forever. She pulled out my SIM card and tossed it in the trash. As the plane lifted off, a news story began spreading across social media. Looking down at the disappearing city, I said my silent farewell. Goodbye to my 15 years. Chapter 4. The woman beside me was Rachel Morgan, my assistant who'd saved me that night at the restaurant. She'd worked at Hartwell Corp for 5 years, my only real ally there. When she'd started as an intern, Victoria had bullied her relentlessly out of jealousy. But Rachel persevered, and I began mentoring her privately, impressed by her resilience. She'd been coming to pick me up from the hospital when she saw me getting into the car with the Hartwells, looking unwell. She'd followed. After that incident, she'd helped me resign and handle all the transitions. I turned to meet her warm gaze and took her hand. Thank you for everything. I'm sorry you lost your job because of me. She smiled. If not for you, I'd have quit Hartwell Corp long ago. It's a family business, all the executives are relatives. It was doomed anyway. After landing, I got a new phone and immediately saw the trending story I'd planted. It included Victoria and Derek's marriage certificate and security footage of Derek deliberately pushing me off. The balcony footage from hidden cameras I'd installed after a break-in, cameras the Hartwells didn't know about. Another trending topic showed reporters mobbing Victoria and Derek at the airport. Victoria had recently won a national dance competition, after I donated $2 million to the committee. She was at peak fame, making her easy for media to track. The video showed them trapped, bombarded with questions. Ms. Hartwell, is the story true? Ms. Hartwell, how does it feel having two husbands? Mr. Mitchell, does Ms. Hartwell know about your work at the Gentlemen's Club? We have footage of you entering hotels with wealthy women. Does Ms. Hartwell know? They barely escaped with airport security's help. I checked the hidden camera feeds from the Hartwell mansion. Mr. Hartwell slapped Victoria hard enough to draw blood. Shameless. How did I raise such a disgraceful daughter? Derek shielded her. Dad, don't. Hit me instead. Mr. Hartwell kicked him. Don't call me Dad. The Hartwell family doesn't need a son-in-law who worked as an escort. He raised a chair to strike when Victoria screamed, don't you dare insult him. Derek grew up an orphan. He only worked there to survive. His soul is pure. I won't let you insult him. Mr. Hartwell shook with rage as Mrs. Hartwell intervened. Calm down. I've been calling Ryan. We need to find him, get him to help. Fool. Can't you see? He leaked this. He wants to destroy the Hartwell name, and you want his help? Our daughter inherited her stupidity from you. Mr. Hartwell's phone rang. His secretary's panicked voice came through. Sir, reporters have surrounded the building. Several major clients couldn't get in and canceled their contracts. Are you idiots? Pay to remove the trending topics. We tried, sir. Several media outlets won't budge, no matter the price. I smiled. Those outlets were owned by my mother's senior colleague from college. He'd treated me like a son, or would have adopted me if he hadn't moved abroad. The feed descended into chaos. Mr. Hartwell beat Derek while Mrs. Hartwell and Victoria tried to pull him off. Victoria shouted, stop. Find Ryan. I know how to fix this. How? Dad, Ryan's just upset. Where else can he go without the Hartwell family? He can't even find a job. He's lived off us his whole life. He loves me too much to let go after 15 years. Get him to clarify that the news is fake. Say he made it all up. Mr. Hartwell frowned. Why would he listen? Dad, he's loved me since childhood. That doesn't just disappear. Mrs. Hartwell added, our daughters. Always been wild, but Ryan always cleaned up her messes. No matter what Victoria did, he forgave her. He knew about Derek before the wedding and still married her. If we scold Victoria in front of him, force her to divorce Derek and remarry him, he'll calm down. Then he can clear things up online, and will blame everything on him. My blood ran cold. This was the family I'd devoted myself to. Though I was curious about the way Mrs. Hartwell looked at Derek. Chapter 5. I turned off my phone and drove with Rachel to my hometown of Boulder, Colorado. We had one purpose, investigating my parents' deaths. I should be grateful this happened. It opened my eyes to reality. When I first arrived at the Hartwells, I couldn't believe both my parents died in the same accident. The route they took rarely had large vehicles. How coincidental that a truck hit them just before they were to patent their research. But I was only 15, powerless to investigate. Mr. Hartwell told me the police ruled it an accident, so I let it go. But recent events rekindled my suspicions. My parents were kind people, especially my father, a man of integrity. They couldn't have been close friends with people like the Hartwells. Rachel and I stayed in my childhood home. To avoid detection, I hadn't touched my bank accounts. Rachel covered our expenses. That evening, we walked along the river, moonlight dancing on the water, jasmine scent in the air. For the first time in 15 years, I felt peace. Since joining the Hartwell family, I'd devoted everything to them. I studied relentlessly, worked part-time to pay my own tuition, not wanting to burden them. Before they were wealthy, I did all the housework, caring for all three of them. For college, I dreamed of becoming a designer. But Mr. Hartwell said Victoria needed someone trustworthy to help run the company when she inherited it. So I abandoned my dreams for business management, a field I hated. I never let them pay tuition, earning scholarships and working jobs. Every penny I saved went to gifts for Victoria. After graduation, I joined Hartwell Corp as a project manager at a fraction of the market rate. Mr. Hartwell said family doesn't profit from family. After Victoria and I married, I'd get shares and dividends. I believed them. I was grateful. I endured. Now I laughed bitterly. Maybe from the start, they planned to use me forever. I was so stupid, thinking they saw me as family. Rachel squeezed my hand. You were just lonely. Living alone takes courage. Your heart needed an anchor. But now you have me. Ryan, I've loved you since you first spoke to me 5 years ago. I'll never leave you. I looked at her, warmth flooding my frozen heart. 2 months later, Hartwell Corp's boardroom was in chaos. Mr. Hartwell sat dejected as relatives screamed at him. You kick us all out for some gigolo? You've forgotten your roots. Derek stood calmly. You violated company policy. Firing you was merciful. Should I report your embezzlement to the police instead? Get out. You have no right to speak here. Victoria slammed the table. How dare you talk to Derek like that? Everyone out. The chaos escalated until Mr. Hartwell roared, silence. Derek, this is MY Company. My relatives can take kickbacks if I allow it. You fired them without permission? Who do you think you are? Derek's mask finally dropped. He laughed. I'm someone who matters. You think I'm like Ryan, willing to be your workhorse? I'll tell you who has no right to speak here, you, Mr. Hartwell. Everyone froze. What do you mean? That's when I entered, smiling, followed by Rachel and a crowd of reporters. Mr. Hartwell lit up seeing me. Ryan. Thank goodness. The company's lost most of its clients since you left. Come back, and I'll forgive everything. Just bring back our clients. I laughed. You'll forgive me? Mr. Hartwell, you're in no position to forgive anyone. What? Because Derek Mitchell now owns 60% of Hartwell Corporation. I threw the documents at him. Your wife's 20%, your daughter's 10%, and 20% of yours all transferred to him. Mr. Hartwell collapsed. Impossible. Not without my signature. I played security footage on my phone. A drunk Mr. Hartwell at the dinner table. Mrs. Hartwell presented papers, covering the content. Insurance forms, dear. Need your signature. He signed without looking. Mr. Hartwell slapped Mrs. Hartwell hard. You bitch. You betrayed me. Why? She cowered behind Derek as I produced another document. Because Mrs. Hartwell is 6 weeks pregnant. The baby is Derek's. The room exploded. Chapter 6. Derek's smile vanished as he glared at Mrs. Hartwell. Victoria still wouldn't believe it. Ryan, enough. You're just bitter, spreading lies to hurt us. I pulled up the security footage. The room filled with Mrs. Hartwell's moans as she and Derek had sex in the mansion. Stunned silence. Derek laughed. So what? It's just an affair. They transferred the shares willingly. You can't use this against me. His words snapped everyone back to reality. Mr. Hartwell kicked Mrs. Hartwell in the stomach. Victoria attacked her mother. You shameless old woman. Stealing your daughter's husband. Mr. Hartwell pounded her stomach until blood pooled beneath her. Mrs. Hartwell reached for Derek. Save me. Save our baby. I love you. You promised to take care of us. Derek stepped away in disgust. You're such a whore. Who knows whose bastard that is? Rachel and I watched the family tear each other apart. Finally, Mr. Hartwell, panting, turned to me. Ryan, I've always treated you like a son. You can't forget what I've done for you. Help me get the shares back. Victoria grabbed my hand, crying. I was wrong. I was just playing around. I didn't mean for this to happen. I'll divorce him right now. We'll get married properly, okay? I shook her off. Don't touch me with your filthy hands. You lived off us for 15 years. Is this how you repay us? Mr. Hartwell joined in. Without me, you'd have starved. I kicked a chair in rage. Without you, I'd still have my parents. You murdered them for their research. Then pretended to be their friend so I'd hand over their life's work. Without me, Hartwell Corp would be nothing. Mr. Hartwell paled. You're lying. I'll sue for slander. Police burst in, cuffing him and Mrs. Hartwell. With Mr. Ryan's help, we found the truck driver. He's confessed to everything. Come with us. As they were led away, Derek laughed. Thank you, Ryan. You've solved my biggest problems. Hartwell Corp is all mine. The police cuffed him too. Mr. Mitchell, several executives' wives have identified you. You're accused of fraud exceeding $50 million while having affairs with them. You're under arrest. He struggled. They gave me that money willingly. You have no proof. I looked at him with contempt. You think I wasted 2 months? I visited every one of your sugar mama's husbands. They're all pressing charges. Your partner, that consultant, helped you move Hartwell assets offshore. I have all the evidence. Enjoy prison. After everyone left, Victoria sat on the floor, sobbing. Ryan, I'm really sorry. Please don't leave. We can start over. My parents are in jail. How am I supposed to live? You don't love me anymore? After this scandal, no one will marry you either. Let's get married and pretend this never happened. I looked down at her and pulled out 2 red booklets. No need to worry. Rachel and I are already married. You wanted to play? Play by yourself. I took Rachel's hand and left without looking back. A month later, while trying on wedding dresses with Rachel, I received several updates. The Hartwells got life sentences. Derek crossed the wrong executive. She died in prison before trial. Victoria spent her days drunk in bars until someone took advantage of her. She was found dead in an alley. Reading the news, I took a deep breath and kissed Rachel's cheek. Our new life begins now. The end.